Consciousness. I'm Sabine. Today I would like to talk about Indigo Children, Autism and the breakdown of the old system. So, children who've been labeled with autism, ADHD and God knows how many different labels or misbehavior, they often felt like out of step. So they're differently wired when they're born, and that's not in a negative way. Indigo children just came in this way. They came into this world about 30, 40 years ago roughly, and they're the next generation of the new human being. They were often called troublemakers. So they were ill-equipped for this world, for this society then, in the 80s, 90s sort of, with being extremely sensitive and intuitive. It must have been hell for them, to be fair. I recently done a little series about the 60s babies. Whoever was raised in the 60s, 70s knows that there was not much showing of emotions and this kind of stuff. And they must have really felt out of sorts in that way. Sensory overload, zero tolerance for pretense, that's what they are. They have that. They are the generation to help us bring about change. Thanks God the world has opened to more to showing emotion. That is not a weakness, that contrary is actually strengths. So I hope they have an easier time now of it. And I met quite a few of young children then with ADHD, so-called ADHD or autism. They're actually very clever beings, human beings. They certainly weren't troublemakers. They just couldn't cope with the non-emotional way it was then. So times have changed, thanks God, and they're exactly what we need now. Most of them are in their between 20s and 40s now. Now the channeled and spiritual view on that, channelers Nancy and Tabby and Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon. Cryon of the Magnetic Service. I really love this entity. He has a kind of weird sense of humor, shall we say. They predicted that a wave of souls coming in the 80s and 90s with certain modifications who are now vital to show us what we need to change. And that's exactly these young people, whether they are in the 20s, 30s or 40s now. These are the ones who are open-minded and much more switched on with these things these days, and more open heart in the heart space. They grew up with it, and we had to learn this the hard way, shall we say it that way. But when they had a hard childhood, when it came to not being understood, they certainly are having an easier go now, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not in their skin, so I haven't got a clue what that is. But the traits of the Indigo children, the deficits or the disorders, how they called it, it's not. It's just that is really the upgraded human being and a deliberate evolution in the human consciousness. Obviously, we need to upgrade that if we do want to get to the golden future. So they've been mainly misunderstood at the time. And the reframing was a lifeline for these families until mainstream neurodiversity acceptance. Now, giving dignity and purpose to kids who often felt like freaks in these environments. I can well understand that, how they must have felt at the time. They've just been different. And today we got the mindset that being different is good. Then, being different, you are called a freak, an outsider, being weird. I'm proud to be weird, to be fair. I'm not an indigo child, but as I say, today I am being proud to be weird. Sorry, my cat is attacking me here. She is interfering again with this recording. So yeah, they come to show us basically that the dinosaur system is collapsing. Now, if any one of you knows the astrologer Steve Chad, that has been saying that for a long time, that the old top-heavy 20th century institutions are the dinosaurs, the education, hierarchy, and the government control is literally breaking down because it doesn't serve us anymore. And that's why indigo in the energy acts as a natural system buster. Their brains cannot and will not fit into the old mold. Good, very good for them. Refusal to conform isn't a flaw. It's an evolutionary safety mechanism, forcing outdated systems to break. To more flexible human-centered systems can take their place. For one example, there's just one example, the NHS. For decades and decades, they operated on the system, you put all these people in one box and you get treated the same way. Now, we learned in recent decades, most of us, that we are all different, we are all individuals, so you can't put even two people in a box, whether they're twins or just two different human beings, it doesn't matter. Everyone feels and experiences things different, whether there's happiness, pain, or any kind of things like that. You just cannot put people into a box. So the medical institutions are one of the systems who need to rethink again, or be reconstructed from the bottom up, to go with the flow, shall we say, to reconstruct itself. And a lot of the old systems have to do that. So the spiritual prediction is what builds a bridge with modern reality. And we needed those indigo children to come in and be that bridge, so to speak, to show the older generations and all the leaders of this so-called new world, they need to see it just isn't working anymore, these old systems. They simply have to go. It's not fair, it's not equal, and too much masculine energy, shall we say. We need a balance of the yin and yang. We need a balance of the masculine and feminine energy. And whether you're looking from the astrology, the spiritual channelers, or neurological diversity angle, it doesn't matter. The core truth is the same. Moving away from fixing to fit a broken system and stepping into a paradigm where our individuality is recognized as essential for the future. So yeah, kudos to those indigo children, to these souls, that they came in at a difficult time to help us show the way and just force us into this new world. And I'm really grateful that they are here to help us to get there eventually. And yes, so I will leave it as that. Thank you very much. And you minx, that hurt. Anyway, let me know what you think about indigo children. I think it's just very positive. Have a good day. See you soon. Bye bye.